Authorities searching for a father suspected of killing his daughter
and took off into the woods over 3 weeks ago.
The forest doesn't scream. It doesn't shout when something terrible happens. It absorbs pain in silence, hiding secrets beneath moss, dirt, and pine. On a quiet stretch of wilderness in Washington state, hidden between jagged cliffs and icy riverbeds, a man arrived at a campsite with his 3 daughters. They were young, 9, 8, and just 5 years old. Innocent, bright, full of life. A weekend trip to the woods, that's all it was supposed to be. But by the end of that weekend, they were all dead. And their father, Travis Decker, was gone, without a trace. This is not a mystery about strangers in the dark. This is not a tale of random violence. This is the story of a father, once trusted, now feared. A former combat soldier, a man struggling with trauma, a parent at war with his own mind, and a community now gripped by the biggest manhunt in Washington's recent history. Today, we take you deep into the tragedy of Travis Decker and the brutal, heartbreaking deaths of his 3 daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. We'll uncover the clues left behind, the search that spanned weeks, the fears that someone may be helping him hide, and the question haunting everyone who's followed this case: why would a father do this? June 2025, Chelan County, Washington. A wilderness so vast, so unforgiving, it could swallow a man whole. That's exactly what Travis Decker was counting on. On the surface, he was a father trying to reconnect with his children after a difficult separation. But in reality, something darker was unfolding. Something no one saw coming, not his family, not the police, and not even those closest to him. That weekend, he took the girls into the mountains for what he told others was a camping trip, but he never planned to come back. Travis wasn't just any man. He served his country, multiple deployments, honors, discipline, but he also brought home invisible wounds, PTSD, nightmares, moments of rage, and long stretches of silence. And according to those who knew him, something inside him began to break. But what causes a man, a father, to cross the line from broken to dangerous? And why did no one stop him before it was too late? The discovery of the girls' bodies sent shockwaves across the country, not just because of what happened, but because Travis was still out there. No one saw him leave. No cameras caught him running. No footprints led away from the scene. He simply disappeared, vanishing into the trees as if the forest had claimed him as one of its own. And some say he's still out there. Law enforcement teams have searched high and low. Cadaver dogs, drones, helicopters, thermal imaging. From Blewett Pass to the Tenaway Valley, nothing. After 2 months, the official search has been scaled back, but the fear hasn't. Because some officials believe Decker had help, a survivalist networks, a family member, or maybe just someone who believes he was a father pushed too far. 3 children, dead. Their father, missing. This isn't just a crime, it's a tragedy, a crisis, a riddle wrapped in grief, anger, and betrayal. And as the forest keeps its secrets, the world asks, where is Travis Decker? I'm Ryu, and this is Crime Loop, where we dig deeper into the stories others leave behind. Subscribe and stick with us as we uncover the full case, the timeline, the evidence, the chase, and the deadly mystery of Travis Decker. It's easy to look back now and ask, what did we miss? But back then, nothing about Travis Decker said killer. He wasn't some shadowy stranger. He was a father, a former soldier, a man who once believed in duty, family, and doing what was right. Travis Decker was born in 1993 in rural Idaho, the son of a logger and a part-time nurse. He was the middle of 3 boys, quiet, disciplined, a natural athlete. At 18, just months out of high school, he enlisted in the United States Army. Between 2012 and 2018, Travis served 3 combat tours, 2 in Afghanistan and 1 in Syria. Those who served with him say he was calm under pressure. Focus, a guy you wanted beside you in a firefight. He earned multiple commendations, including a Bronze Star. But when Travis came home, something didn't come back with him. In 2019, Travis was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and borderline personality disorder. He struggled with depression, isolation, and what some friends described as waves of explosive anger, followed by days of silence. According to a VA report leaked to local media, Travis was flagged multiple times for missed therapy sessions, and he had stopped taking his medication in the year before the murders. He'd been discharged from a veteran rehabilitation program just months before the incident for non-compliance. One fellow vet said, "You could tell he was trying to hold it together for the girls, but it was like he had this war going on inside him, one nobody else could see." To his daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, Travis wasn't a soldier, he was just dad. He made pancakes on Saturdays. He built blanket forts in the living room. He taught them how to fish. Even after separating from his wife, he fought for joint custody, and for a while, it seemed like things were stable. He had the girls on alternating weekends and took them camping almost every month. But those trips started changing. Friends said he became more withdrawn. He stopped posting photos. The gear he brought became weirdly survivalist. It went from tents and marshmallows, one friend said, to tactical vests and field knives. Travis met Whitney Lawson in 2011 at a community college gym in Spokane. She was studying child development. He had just come home from his first tour overseas. They married quickly. 3 kids followed in 5 years. But by 2023, the cracks were showing. Whitney filed for a legal separation, citing unpredictable moods, emotional instability, and frequent disappearances. She told friends she no longer felt safe, and court records show she requested supervised visitation for the girls. The judge denied that request, but limited Travis's overnight stays. He still saw his daughters regularly, but Whitney reportedly told a friend, "Every time I send them, I wonder if they're coming back." Between January and May of 2025, several red flags were raised. Lost his job at a local warehouse after an angry outburst. He was evicted from his apartment for failing to pay rent. He had multiple encounters with police, one for trespassing, another for loitering near a women's shelter. And most alarmingly, he reportedly told a fellow vet, "If they ever try to take my girls from me, I'll make sure nobody gets them." The vet reported it, but nothing was done. On May 30th, 2025, Travis picked up his daughters for what was supposed to be a routine weekend visit. Instead of staying in town, he drove them nearly 3 hours out, into the Cascade Mountains. Surveillance footage shows him stopping at a local gas station, buying fuel, matches, dried food, and what appeared to be survival gear. At the register, he reportedly told the clerk, "Off-grid weekend, just me and the girls. No phones, no drama." That was the last confirmed sighting of Travis Decker before everything went quiet. So who was Travis Decker? A loving father? A decorated veteran failed by a broken system? Or a man who had already made up his mind that if he couldn't live in the world as it was, he'd take his daughters out of it too? May 30th, 2025, a Friday afternoon like any other until it wasn't. That day marked the beginning of what Travis Decker told everyone would be just another off-grid weekend with his daughters. But it ended in the most devastating way imaginable. Here's what we know. At 4:15 p.m., Travis arrived at his ex-wife's residence in Wenatchee, Washington. He picked up Peyton, 9, Evelyn, 8, and Olivia, 5, his 3 daughters. Whitney, his estranged wife, noted nothing unusual. She later told investigators he was quiet but polite. The girls were excited. They always loved camping. Just after 4:30 p.m., Travis drove away in his silver Dodge Ram pickup, heading west toward the Cascades. At 6:07 p.m., he was captured on CCTV at a Chevron station in Leavenworth. He filled up the truck, bought propane canisters, canned food, extra rope, and zip ties. Witnesses later recalled that the girls looked tired but calm. One cashier said, "The youngest one had a stuffed bear. She waved at me. He didn't smile." Travis took the girls deep into the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, eventually stopping near Fish Lake, a quiet, tree-shrouded area popular among hikers. He set up camp in a secluded grove roughly 200 yards from the main trail. According to later reports, he pitched 2 tents, one for himself, one for the girls. That night, a pair of backpackers reported hearing a man yelling, loud but indistinct. When they approached the area to check, the lights inside the tents were out, no further sounds. Investigators believe this was the night the girls were last seen alive. On Sunday morning, Travis was scheduled to check in with his probation officer via text, a condition of his parenting agreement. But no message came. That same afternoon, Whitney texted him to ask how the girls were doing. No response. She assumed he was out of signal range. By evening, concerns started to grow. She texted again, "Let me know when you're back in range." She never received a reply. Monday morning, June 2nd. Travis was expected to return the girls to their mother by 10 a.m. When they didn't arrive by noon, Whitney called repeatedly. By 2 p.m., she reported them missing. That same afternoon, a Chelan County Sheriff's deputy located Travis's truck, abandoned near a hiking trailhead off Fish Lake Road. The driver's door was slightly ajar. Inside the truck were a sleeping bag, an empty pistol case, 3 child-sized backpacks, bloodstains on the front seat. The discovery triggered a full-scale search. Officers quickly discovered the campground 200 yards away. In one of the tents, all 3 girls were found dead, fully clothed, laid side by side. No signs of gunfire, no signs of struggle. Later autopsy reports suggested manual asphyxiation, possibly smothering. Nearby, investigators found duct tape, zip ties, and a bloodied sweatshirt that did not match the children's clothing. Most chilling of all, Travis's dog, Max, was still at the campsite, alive, starving, whimpering, but Travis himself was nowhere to be found. Inside the truck, wedged in the sun visor, authorities found a handwritten note. Though the full contents have not been released, multiple sources have described it as erratic, philosophical, rambling about betrayal, justice, and freedom. According to one law enforcement official, the final line read, "They won't grow up in this broken world." A haunting sentence that now echoes like a confession. Search dogs picked up a scent trail leading west toward the river, but after a few hundred yards, it vanished. No tracks, no clothing, no phone signal, no recent digital activity. It was as if Travis had melted into the forest. For weeks, search crews combed the 15-square-mile area. Helicopters circled, drones scanned tree canopies, divers entered icy streams. Nothing. 4 days, that's all it took. 4 days to plan it, 4 days to execute it, and 4 days for one man to disappear, possibly forever. From the moment Travis picked up his daughters to the second law enforcement reached the tent, only 72 hours had passed. In that time, the lives of 3 little girls were taken. A mother was left shattered, and a nation was left asking, how could this happen? Why didn't anyone stop it? And where did he go?
Make room for it. Okay. Decker. Nice.
You can't stop halfway, Abby.
There we go, Abby. Nice. Olivia.
The woods had fallen silent by the time officers found the camp. But the silence spoke volumes. What investigators would uncover over the next 48 hours would transform this from a missing persons case into a homicide manhunt. The bodies of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia were discovered in Tent 2. Inside, the girls were positioned side by side, covered in their sleeping bags. No signs of struggle, no defensive wounds, just stillness. Officers at the scene reported a eerily peaceful arrangement, almost ritualistic. Their faces were serene, but what lay underneath told a different story. The Chelan County Medical Examiner's Office conducted full autopsies the following day. All 3 girls were found to have bruising on the lips and neck, minor hemorrhaging around the eyes, and slight abrasions consistent with restraint. Cause of death for all 3, manual asphyxiation. There were no drugs in their systems, no sedatives. They had been fully conscious when it happened. This wasn't a mercy killing, this was deliberate. But there was one disturbing anomaly. Each girl had a small cross drawn in Sharpie on their wrist. Matching symbols were found carved faintly into a piece of driftwood near the fire pit. Investigators are still unsure whether this detail was religious, symbolic, or part of Travis's unraveling state of mind. Back at the campsite, investigators found multiple items that now serve as key pieces of evidence. A half-burned notebook later recovered from the fire pit. Pages describe purging pain and setting them free. A set of zip ties, still in the original packaging. A length of nylon rope, coiled but unused. A blood-stained sweatshirt, size adult large. DNA matched Travis's. The dog's metal bowl, empty but licked clean. But no phone, no weapon, no digital devices of any kind. It was as if he had scrubbed the area clean, knowing full well what was to come. Fragments from the burned notebook offered a disturbing look inside Travis Decker's unraveling psyche. One line read, "The world punishes truth. I won't let it punish them." Another, "There's no healing in supervised weekends. That's not fatherhood. That's a leash." And the most haunting of all, "Better to end in love than live in separation." Authorities believe Travis saw this as an act of twisted mercy. Not rage, not revenge, but a grim redefinition of protection. In his mind, the system had failed him, and now in some warped way, he was saving his daughters from it. Of everything left behind, Max, Travis's dog, may be the most tragic witness of all. Malnourished but unharmed, Max was found lying between the two tents. No aggression, no sign of panic, just silence. Some speculate Travis deliberately spared the dog. Others believe he couldn't bear to look into familiar eyes while carrying out the murders. Either way, Max was later turned over to Whitney, the girl's mother. It was the only part of her family she'd get back.
You know that Peyton would have sought each and every one of you out to try to find something to give you a compliment for. She did that for everyone, whether it was in the grocery store or at school or with me, always telling me, "Oh, you look so beautiful, Mom. I love your earrings," or whatever it was that she could find.
As the manhunt intensified, FBI behavioral analysts began constructing a profile of Travis Decker. Their conclusion? Methodical, narcissistic, possibly delusional. He was not snapping in a moment of emotional chaos. He had planned this, from the purchased supplies to the selection of a remote location to the wording of the note and destruction of his digital trail. This was an operation, not a meltdown. One analyst put it this way: he didn't run because he was scared. He ran because he believed he'd succeeded. And yet, major questions remain. Why weren't there signs of a struggle? Why were the zip ties unused? Why smothering instead of a gun or poison? And if he planned to vanish, did he also plan to die? Some investigators believe Travis may have taken his own life deep in the forest, and that his body simply hasn't been found. Others are convinced he escaped and is living off-grid under a new identity. The lack of concrete evidence leaves the door open to either possibility. One thing is certain: what Travis Decker left behind is a blueprint for pain and a haunting mystery with no closure. For a mother, for a community, for a nation watching from afar. The day after the bodies were discovered, Travis Decker was gone. No car, no phone, no trace. What followed was not just a manhunt, it became a national obsession. Law enforcement launched a multi-agency search within hours of identifying Travis as the primary suspect. July 7th, 5:20 a.m. Ground units and canine teams begin combing the area. By noon, drones and helicopters are deployed, scanning miles of dense forest. The theory: Travis had either gone deeper into the wild or slipped away before police even arrived. But the woods were vast, treacherous, and offered hundreds of possible routes out. On July 8th, a tip led authorities to an abandoned red Toyota Tacoma, matching Travis registration, located near a fishing access road 6 miles from the campsite. The vehicle was locked. Inside, a backpack filled with snacks and survival tools, extra dog food, a knife in a leather sheath, a torn-off license plate. Strangely, the keys were found under a rock nearby, as if he wanted the vehicle to be discovered. DNA on the steering wheel confirmed it was his, but Travis was long gone. Travis had wiped all traceable technology before fleeing. No phone pings, no bank activity, no GPS trackers. Surveillance footage from nearby gas stations, convenience stores, even traffic cams turned up nothing. Analysts believe he planned for months, studying routes in blind spots. He may have even practiced vanishing in advance. In a time when most fugitives make a digital mistake within 72 hours, Travis made none. And that's what terrified investigators the most. A growing theory among both professionals and armchair detectives. Travis disguised himself. Why? He had a background in amateur theater, was known to use costumes when playing with his daughters, had months to prepare. Some reports claim he may be traveling in disguise, posing as a hitchhiker, a fisherman, or even a park ranger. One witness in Idaho claimed to have spoken to a man matching his eyes and voice, wearing a fake beard and military jacket. That lead was never confirmed, but it ignited a media firestorm. As the FBI joined the case, national media jumped in. The vanishing father, the ghost of Lake Chelan, dad or devil. True crime communities exploded with theories. Reddit threads dissected satellite imagery, maps, and old Facebook posts. A YouTube channel with over 2 million subscribers ran a 3-hour breakdown of the crime scene layout. TikTok creators stitched theories with fake Travis sightings, some racking up millions of views overnight. But with every day that passed, the line between truth and speculation blurred. On July 12th, the FBI officially issued a federal warrant for Travis Decker's arrest. The charges: 3 counts of first-degree murder, interstate flight to avoid prosecution. A $20,000 reward was announced for information leading to his capture. Flyers went up in every national park across the Pacific Northwest. Gas stations, bus depots, even trailheads. But still, no one credible had seen him, as if Travis had melted into the very wilderness he once used as a playground with his daughters. So where is Travis Decker? Here are the 3 dominant theories investigators are currently working with. Theory 1, off-the-grid survivalist. Travis had the skills. He loved the outdoors. He had survival training, access to equipment, and months to plan a hideout deep in the Cascades or beyond. He may be living off the land, avoiding trails, and using caches of supplies he stored in advance. Some believe he's still within 100 miles of the crime scene. Theory number 2, identity change and urban disguise. This theory suggests Travis escaped into a major city: Portland, Boise, Seattle. He could be using a fake ID, working a cash-based job under a new name. Investigators are combing homeless shelters, food kitchens, and even storage unit logs. It's less romantic than off the grid, but far more difficult to trace. Theory 3, he's already dead. The most haunting possibility of all. Some believe Travis ended his life shortly after the murders. The nearby Columbia River is vast, unpredictable, and full of deep channels. If he jumped, his body may never surface. No note, no body, no closure, just emptiness. Over a month has passed, and still, no sighting, no leads, just whispers in the trees, and a mother who wakes up every morning asking the same question: where is he? The FBI says he's still out there, somewhere, and if he's alive, he's watching this all unfold, just like the rest of us. Waiting, hiding, maybe even proud, but justice has long memories, and no one runs forever.